there's one room, there's a courtroom scene. They had it booked for like a day and a half. I had it done in 6 hours. Let's go, guys, move it along. So, I mean, to say it was crazy would be an understatement. So we wrapped the movie. We wrapped the movie December 10th.
Nice.
A Friday.
Nice.
Okay. The toy is opening in the theaters. So, as a thank you, congratulations, they rented out 4 rows in a movie theater locally in Tucson, Arizona, so the entire cast and crew could go see the opening night of the toy with me.
Right, right.
And we all went, and and that's when, they said, listen, we've never seen that. Never. Your kid was here every day, ready to go. Knew his lines, knew his blocking, knew everything. Where did you get this child? And you have to realize, I saved them 10 days of shooting at $100,000 to $120,000 a day. I just saved them $1 million.
Right, right. Wow. So it's very clear that perhaps the sort of the cockiness of the kid in Kidco is very much yourself at that time.
More than you could possibly imagine. Vicky Cessna was definitely an offshoot of my own personality. Down to, there was a golf course down from my house. Myself and a buddy of mine used to go into the woods in the golf course and get the balls and put them in egg crates and sell them for 50 cents a piece.
Nice. That's awesome. What about shoveling the manure? How was that?
I was all right. Most of it was fake anyway.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they're not going to have, there was no real stuff there.
Interesting. Is there any truth to the rumors that it was based on like a true story?
Absolutely.
Did you meet the real kid?
Absolutely. Richard Cessna. Absolutely.
Wow.
They were in San Diego County.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, they were real kids. They actually came to the set. We took pictures with them and everything, and that scared the shit out of the director. He said, oh, my God, what happens if Scotty picks up on something in the real Richard's personality that's not his, and maybe it won't work, and this and that, and whatever. Of course, that never happened. We talked to him for half an hour.
Wow. That's incredible. So I just have a couple more for you. Going back to the toy real fast. There's been so much written about Gleason, right? There's all these biographies and stuff, and I've read where he was a very lonely man, right? So did you see any instances of that with him?
Of him being lonely?
Yeah, he was always lonely. Like they'd say that when he, after he was done, he always had to have someone with him, other he couldn't stand being alone by himself.
Listen, then that's like saying Brad Pitt can't be alone, or George Clooney, or anybody else who has an assistant.
Okay.
It's not a matter of loneliness. It's a matter of convenience. You have the money. People need a job. It's simple. The guy that worked for him, his name was Mel. He was an older gentleman, had been with Gleason for 30-something years, but he served the purpose. He made sure Gleason had his tea, had his drink, or whatever he was, had his cigarettes. He took care of Mr. Gleason. That was his job.
Sure.
Marilyn, Gleason's wife, came to the set a couple of times.
Okay.
That's a wife visiting a husband. That's not, oh, my God, I'm going to visit Jackie Gleason. No.
Right.
She sleeps with the guy. It's his husband,
Sure. Yeah. Interesting. And then that same question I asked earlier about Richard Pryor, so what do you think you learned from Gleason working with him at such a young age?
Oh, God. Variable of things. Number one is he taught me how to shoot pool.
Wow.
And he was a master. He beat Minnesota Fats. He beat
the
other guy. I can't think of his name now. Steve Mizorak, and there's another one, an old timer from Minnesota's era, and I can't think of it. He beat all of them. I believe he's the only entertainer in the Billiards Hall of Fame.
Wow. Yeah.
And he said to me, "Kid, you ever shoot pool? I could barely see over the table." He said, "Come on, I'll show you." So he took me in the house, and there was the pool table sitting there. And he taught me hour after hour. We would just go back to the pool table, and he'd show me everything.
Sure.
You know, but from a talent aspect, it's not about somebody really teaching you something. It's just a matter of paying attention. You know, I was told this by my dad when I was young. He said, "You think you're smart, you think you're bright, you're a dummy." All these people have been doing this for years and years and years. You know nothing, dude. He's like, "Shut up, keep your ears and your eyes open, and you're going to learn stuff." And that's what I did.
Sure.
You know, you learn timing, and you learn inflections, and you learn just how to react in different things in different scenarios. You know,
Sure.
and again, I was young, so I didn't have life experiences to draw from. Now I can draw from different things. But back then, there's not that much life experience you can draw from, you know, emotionally.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And then my last question is for you. I mean, you know, obviously people know you from, you know, working on the Christmas Story and the Toy and Kidco. So, I mean, what is one thing that people don't know about you?
Most don't know that I was a WWF ring crew guy.
Oh, really?
I actually put together rings back in the mid to late 80s, 85, 86. You know, for the WWF. How did that happen? I met Big John Studd, who was a wrestler who used to fight Andre the Giant all the time.
Right.
And he was at an audition I was at. We met. We talked. I ended up driving him to, when my dad drove him to Madison Square Garden. I ended up going to events, started meeting guys. Next thing you know, I'm doing stuff with him.
Nice.
So I'm jumping in the car, going to Newark Airport, paying $19 on People's Express, going to D.C., doing events in Washington, Virginia, Boston. Once I started driving, then I was really all over the place. You know, but you know, when Hulk Hogan needed something, Scotty, I need you to take care of this. No problem. You know, Vince McMahon I got to be friendly with due to a wacky situation. Believe it or not, I mean, of all people, you know, he's got a whole crew, you know, 50 guys working for him, and I fix a problem, and the next thing you know, WrestleMania 2 came up into it was three cities. It was New York, Chicago, and L.A. L.A. had the King Kong Bundy, Hulk Hogan steel cage match. Chicago, the main event, was the 30-man Battle Royal with all the Chicago Bears guys.
Yes.
And in New York, it was the Mr. T. Roddy Piper boxing match. So the day before WrestleMania, which was a Sunday, WrestleMania was on Monday night, I'm at home. It's a Sunday afternoon, and the phone rings, and I was in the bedroom doing something, and my dad picked up the phone. He's like, and I can hear him going, "Yes, Scotty's here. Who's this? Say that again." All right, hold on a second. Dad comes into my bedroom. He says, "Yeah, Vince McMahon's on the phone." And I said, "Okay." So I go over to the phone. I say, "Hey, Vince, what's going on?" "Scotty, I need your help." "What do you need?" "You got to go to New York tomorrow for WrestleMania." "I'm in L.A. We got Chicago, New York. I don't have anybody in New York who I trust putting together the celebrities' dressing rooms."
Sure.
You've been in the movies. You know what you're doing. I need your help." "Sure, no problem."
Wow.
So I took a friend of mine the next day, and I got out to the Long Island Coliseum, and I'm doing the dressing rooms for Joan Rivers, Mr. T, G. Gordon Liddy, and Tab Calloway. So I did the dressing rooms for them, and I'm actually on the thing. You can YouTube it. I'm like 38 seconds into the match. You see me walk behind the ring, and then my buddy is sitting there. It's hysterical. Most people don't know that. You know, I've known between Brutus Beefcake, Hulk Hogan, I knew Randy Savage. I used to pick him and Miss Elizabeth up at the airports, and, you know, Leap and Lanny Poffo and Greg Valentine and, you know, Mr. Fuji and all those guys. You know, I'm so friendly with most all of them. When I see them, they're like, "Oh, my God, how are you?" You know, Brutus is like my older brother. I just spent 4 days with him in Florida.
Nice. Yeah, I never knew that. You know, I never knew the Iron Sheik was from this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think Hacksaw Jim Duggan's from this area too. I think he's from Detroit too area, or he used to live here at one point, anyways.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't. You know, some of them I know where they're from. Some of them I don't. You know.
Sure.
But you know, again, there's that certain amount of respect. It's sort of funny as you go through the years that it started off in one place, and then as they had more kids and more time goes by, then their kids become your fans.
Right.
And then, you know, I get a phone call and say, "Scotty, it's so and so. Listen, do me a favor. Can you send out 2 pictures for my kids? They're big fans now. They keep watching Christmas Story." "Okay." You know, Brooke,
Nice.
Brooke and Nick, you know, Hulk Hogan's kids.
Right.
You know, I remember them when they were still in diapers. You know, I've known them longer than their father. And, you know, when I saw them not that long ago, we got into a conversation, and Nick is like, you know, I've been watching you since I was a kid. I never even thought about it. And I said, well, that's the way it is, man. I said, I watched you and going pooping in your diapers. Absolutely. It's all right. You know?
Wow. Interesting. Well, listen, thanks so much for this. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome. Such a pleasure.
You're welcome. And, you know, hopefully sometime later this year, I do have a book that's actually just been finished being written.
Oh, really? Cool. What is it? What is it?
It's called Whatever Happened to Me.